Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. It is the Hickson Has It hotline. Don't forget, HicksonHasIt.com. All right, we're going to jump gears, and it's really honor and privilege to have him on, and I'm so happy for him. Representative Steve Scalise, the Minority Whip, joins us. Hey, Steve, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, Moon. Always great to be with you.
I got to tell you, when and I'm not going to take you back, really. I mean, I know you want to move forward, but I got to tell you, when you came back to Congress, we were sitting here, and I had tears in my eyes watching you, but we actually played you all over our program so people can hear what you had to say, and you got a great applause and all that stuff. And it was great. It was just great to see you moving around, my brother.
Man, thanks. It was a special time that, you're in a hospital for 3.5 months. You can imagine, Moon, I was getting stir crazy towards the end and just wanted to get back home and see my family and be in my house again and get around the district, but also wanted to get back to work. And to be able to walk in that Capitol, boy, what a special feeling. And, I just want to thank you, Moon, and everybody out there for all the prayers. It touched me personally to see just how many people were praying for me and wishing me well, and it helped me through real tough times, and it's great to be back.
Oh, I just know it's great to have you back. I'll be honest with you. I'm just tickled to death that you survived it. You're able to get back with your wife and your kids and go back to work, and I'm happy for you. I got to tell you, like I said, I didn't want to really go back to all that. I know that was a trying time, and I'm sure that's something that you hope you never have to go through again. Just the morning of, I'm sure, just listening to you talk and watching what they were talking about, I'm sure that's not something you really wish anybody would have to go through.
No, nobody should have to go through it, but obviously, it happened, and I. Look, I'm blessed to be here. I'm just lucky to be alive because of, great work from my Capitol Police security detail, just battling the shooter and staring him down and ultimately taking him down and saving a lot of lives in the process. And, I saw real miracles happen that day. And, just it's a blessing to be here. And, I have just great feelings about how people all across the country were praying for me and wishing me well. It gave me strength during that time, and and even now, as you look at what we're facing, just to know what's real important in life, and let's go get our work done, but keep your perspective too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Steve, all right, a lot of stuff to cover with you real quick. I know you don't have a ton of time. I guess the next thing I'm going to turn to, I'm not going to talk about the investigation and all that stuff. I mean, some of that stuff is so crazy, it's not even funny. But I do want to talk a little bit about the tax reform. Do we have a shot to get this passed? I know a lot of people are disappointed on Obamacare and some of the stuff that we didn't get done. And, of course, we're wrapping up almost the first year of this new Congress. So what about tax reform? What do you think is going to happen with this, and will we get it done?
I think it's critically important that we get it done, Moon, and I think the House can get it done before the end of this year. And I was just talking to the White House last night. I've been working real closely with Chairman Kevin Brady, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee in the House, who's putting the bill together, as well as with President Trump. I've spoken to him a number of times. He called me from the hospital a few times, and towards the end when I was getting ready to get out, we were looking towards tax reform, and this was something that I started working on back then. And look, I was in the hospital when health care failed in the Senate, and I know how hard we worked in the House to pass it. It was a tough bill to pass, but we put the coalition together. We didn't stop until we got it done. The Senate didn't do that. They came one vote short. It was really, really disappointing, but I hope they keep working at it. But in the meantime, tax reform is the best thing we could do to get the economy moving. You talk about something that'll get this economy going and rebuild the middle class, Moon. Just creating those middle class jobs that we lost, watching companies move jobs overseas that are good, high-paying jobs, $60,000 to $150,000 a year jobs. Let's bring them back. Let's get those middle-class jobs back, and let's cut taxes for every bracket so that people get more money in their pockets. That's what we're working on. That's what we're going to do. Hopefully we can roll out the bill in the next few days and then start bringing the bill through the process and getting it passed to the president's desk.
What's so wrong with just taking brackets from 5 or 6 brackets down to 3? It simplifies it. I don't see why that's a headache with some people. I mean, why not simplify things? We're talking about for the American people. We need things more simplified. I mean, we need it simplified. We need it.
If you ask 10 different CPAs a complicated question about the tax code, you literally would get 10 different answers. And same thing with the IRS. If you asked an IRS official, you're going to get a different answer from everybody you talk to. That shows you how complicated the code has gotten. And look, fixing it is not easy. There's a reason that it hasn't been reformed since 1986. Ronald Reagan was president. Look what the economy did after Reagan fought to get those tax cuts. The economy took off like nothing we've seen, and the same thing can happen. Simplifying the code is a big part of this, and our bill, we're targeting going down to 3 rates. We also, and this is something that's equally important to people getting a tax cut, is that the code would be so simplified under our plan that over 90% of families would actually be able to do their taxes on a postcard. Think of how convenient that would be for people. And if you're hiring somebody to do your taxes, that's more money in your pocket. You go on maybe an extra vacation or something. And look, those CPAs, don't worry about them. They'll be busy setting up corporations because the economy will be taking off so much, and you'll see so much job creation.
Couple of things. Home mortgage has been mentioned, and they talked about getting rid of the home mortgages, which to some people that have bought homes, that's gold. What's your thoughts on that, and where do you think they go with this?
In our plan, Moon, we're going to protect the home mortgage interest deduction. That's something that we've worked hard to do. It's something that it's important to a lot of middle class families, and we also double the standard deduction. So families actually have a choice. You might actually be better off doing the standard deduction, but if you want to have the home mortgage interest deduction, it's going to be there for you.
So it's going to be maybe a pick. And that's, I guess that's the misinformation, what you just said.
You pick what's best for your family. You want to stick with the current home mortgage interest deduction. You got that benefit. It's going to be there in the tax code.
Okay.
But if you go the standard deduction route and you figure, hey, look, that's actually a better benefit to me. That's more money in my pocket. You still have your home mortgage. You still have your home. In fact, more people will be able to buy a home.
But you know, Steve, that right there is not being explained. You just explained something to me as I read this, and I'm going, okay, what about this? And that's not being explained. Hey, you may have a choice. It doesn't mean you lose your mortgage. Keep it if you like it. But what if by doubling the deal on the write-off, the standard deductions, if you double it, somebody may look at it and say, whoa, we're going to save more money doing this than worried about right now.
Yeah, if you want to itemize, it's a little more complicated. If you itemize, you might have to get a CPA to do it right. But that's your choice, and if that actually puts more money in your pocket, and then that's how you've done it for the last 20 years, you could still do that. But if you look at it and say, wait a minute, I now have an option in doing the standard deduction, that might put more money in my pocket.
Yeah.
So let families choose, and you've got that option to do that. And look, the bill hasn't been filed yet, so I know there are a lot of details being worked out in these last few days, but that's one thing that's going to be in there. You maybe get a little scoop here, Moon, but it's going to be well explained once it gets rolled out. But in the meantime, we're working to make these final details work so that middle class families get a real tax cut. That's something real important to President Trump and us. And let's get the bill rolled out in a way where we're all unified.
Yeah, Steve Scalise, of course, right here from the great state of Louisiana, Congressman Scalise. He's back full time, back working his fanny off. All right, one of the other things, and I'm touching the surface of what people have said, Steve, and what we read and what we see, because it affects a lot of people. 401k, and I thought, talking about limited to $2,400 per, per household, per person, whatever it is, but limiting that. When I saw that, I went, wow. So talk a little bit about this. I know the bill's not written yet, but what are y'all discussing dealing with 401ks?
Right now, I'm not sure where it's going to end up, but I know President Trump was real clear that he doesn't want what's called Rothification, meaning, you would have to go to a Roth IRA versus a traditional 401k. I think you're going to see that preserved, the traditional 401ks. Look, it's a great way for people to save. I'm hoping that there's even more incentives for people to save money for their retirement. That's going to be in this bill. Again, the final details are being worked out. So let's wait and see. But I think if you're somebody who, whether you use 401k or a Roth IRA, whatever's best for you, you're going to have those options and maybe even a few additional options for saving money for your retirement.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Steve Scalise, my special. Yes, all right, Steve, this is the big deal. People want to see it happen. It's no doubt if you got tax reform, I'm going to say working people. Forget middle class, rich, because the left's already saying, there's tax cut for the rich, tax cut for the rich. And I get so mad about that because that's all they ever say. But if you're going to give tax breaks, I think tax breaks ought to go to people who go to work. Not for people
Absolutely.
who don't work. It ought to be for people who work. So if you happen to be a billionaire, a millionaire, worth $100,000, $500,000, and you're going to work, you should get the break. Heck, you paying the tax.
Yeah, if you're paying taxes, you're out there working hard. You're going to get a tax cut, no matter what you make. And look, if you're making $30,000 a year, you're going to get a tax cut. And frankly, most of those folks aren't going to say, "Oh, wait a minute, I want a tax cut, but I don't want somebody else to get a tax cut." Let everybody get a tax cut who's out there working. And then just as importantly, Moon, you're going to get economic growth again like we haven't seen in decades. You're going to see the economy take off. And now more people that aren't working are going to be able to get into the workforce, actually be able to go out and get a job and get a good job and become part of the middle class, become part of the American dream, go buy a home. That's what you're going to see when the economy takes off and we start bringing those tens of thousands of good, high-paying jobs that left the country. There's no reason Ireland should be a mecca for research and development for pharmaceutical drugs, for example. Those are really good jobs. They didn't go to Ireland because Ireland's a great place to do business and better than us. We have a higher tax rate. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. Yep. And what that means, that tax-the-rich mentality, all it means is that all those middle-class jobs left America. Let's bring them back. Smart policy will actually bring them back by cutting taxes for everybody.
Do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to take a quick break. Come back, and I have about 5 or 6 minutes with you. So good to hear from Representative Steve Scalise, who's back on his feet and working, and we'll get back and visit with him right after this break, folks. Don't forget John Schroeder at the coming out of 10:30 break. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Representative Steve Scalise, Majority Whip, is on the program with him, and he's back working and getting after it. And Steve, we're really happy for you, man, personally. You know, if you went in politics tomorrow, if you got out of it, and I'm sure between you and your beautiful bride, I'm sure that's been discussed. We want you to get back on your feet and do well for you and your family.
No, thanks. It just meant a lot. All of the love and support we got, and really helped us through this time. But it's just great to be back and doing the job. I love the job. It's an honor to represent Southeast Louisiana, and to be able to battle for the state and be in a leadership position where I can help try to push a more conservative agenda, and frankly work with President Trump so we can deliver a really big win for people across the country.
Yeah, I just with all the mess going on up there, and I've said it before, and I know you read indictments and all that stuff. I still think it's still time to get something done, and I think the American people they really want something done. The tax code being adjusted to help people that work for a living, that shouldn't be that hard anymore. But in this country, everything's politics. That should be the easiest thing y'all can do.
And you're seeing some groups come out against the plan already, and because gee whiz, if we simplify the code, there are some special interest loopholes that get closed that we eliminate, and and obviously those folks are going to be yelling loud. But if you look at what we're doing, the vast majority of Americans are going to get a much more simplified code, and if you're working, you're going to get a tax cut. Every rate is lowered, and you're talking about real money back in your pocket. I mean, thousands. We just had a study that we saw come out by the Council of Economic Advisors about a week and a half ago, Moon, that said under our plan, the average American family will see $4,000 a year more in their pockets.
I saw that.
That's real money.
It's amazing. What y'all talking about doing is tax reform where people have more money. Unfortunately, in our state, they're talking about tax reform. Jim Beam had a piece today that we need to be paying more income taxes. And I'm sitting here going, I don't understand. You live in this state, and I don't understand how we can have the federal government saying we're going to give you some money back, you guys that are working, and the state government saying we're going to take more money away from you because we need it. I'm kind of puzzled about that. I mean, which one is right? And I believe y'all right. I believe our state's wrong.
Already, Moon. You can see what happens when you lower tax rates. I mean, go look at every time it's been done. When John F. Kennedy Jr., when he was president, he lowered taxes, and the economy took off. And that was a Democrat. And he was criticized even on his left flank. But when Ronald Reagan did it again, you saw in '86, it started by the time it was fully implemented, the economy took off like nothing we've seen, and they did it again in the '90s, and you saw it again under President Bush. It works every time it's been done. Look at a state like New York, one of the highest tax states in the country. they're losing their high-income people. Their middle class and upper middle class and millionaires are fleeing the state, going to states like Florida where they have no income tax because the taxes are too high in New York. It actually is a disincentive. It runs off people, and we saw what happened with a high corporate rate in America. All that happened with that tax-to-rich mentality is really good middle-class, high-paying jobs left America to go to other countries. We can bring them back. We've got to bring them back. We've got to get it done this year.
Oh, no doubt about it. No, I wasn't joking with you. Beam wrote an article, State Residents Not Overtaxed. I just fell out. By the way, our median income here, Steve, is Congressman Scalise, it's going down. We only one of only 4 states that our income's not growing. And so you can't have a state where your income's not growing, and you're gonna put more taxes on the people.
The more you tax, you look next door. I mean, go look at Texas, and they've got tough times in the oil industry just like we do.
Sure.
But their economy is moving well because they don't have a state income tax, and it's a real incentive for people to move there. The more you tax people, they're gonna look for other things to do and other places to go, and that's why with our plan we're lowering rates for everybody. If you pay taxes, your rates are going down. And if you're not working, you're going to be able to find a job because the economy is going to take off. That's what the American dream's all about. And that's what we're trying to fight to restore.
By the way, somebody wrote this to me, Steve. He said, I don't understand why people are so against rich people getting a tax break. I have a heavy equipment. He said, I'm a heavy equipment operator. I just moved off a job for a rich man, 10 days at almost $2,000 a day. How many middle income or poor can afford that? Give them the break so I can make more money.
Yeah. We want more people to be rich, to be wealthy, to have opportunity. It's all about opportunity.
Sure.
There's no guarantee in life you're going to be a millionaire or you're going to be able to get a $30,000 a year job, but there's an opportunity for you to do it, and you ought to have that opportunity. This bill, our tax cut plan, is going to put more money in the pockets of working people and give more opportunity for people that might not be where they want to be. They might not be part of the middle class, but they want to be.
Sure.
Well, here's an opportunity for them to go and do it and buy that first-time home.
All right, I didn't get a chance to mess with you about my healthcare situation, but I'm gonna send you an article from the Washington Post. It's a must read. Steve Scalise, God bless, man.
Let's work on that. Hey, the Tigers are going to beat Alabama, by the way. This
Here we
Saturday,
go.
So
Here we go.
You heard it here.
You heard it first from you. Thank you, man. Good luck, brother. All right, John Schroeder when we get back.